I'd like to call the governing board meeting for the Liberty Elementary School District to order today, Monday, October 30th, 2023. Just for a matter of the record, our work session that we originally had scheduled at 4:30 has been canceled due to an illness, so we're going to move straight into our regular agenda board meeting. Members present, we have Board Member Parks, Board Member Aguirre is absent, Board Member Bixler, Board Member Kenyon, and myself, Michael Todd, present here at the Jerry Rovey facility. We do have a slight issue. We checked with legal. Originally, our Pledge of Allegiance was in our work session. However, we're not having that, so we're just going to do a quick Pledge of Allegiance, and if the Attorney General doesn't like it, I'll take the hit, but I'm not too worried. With that, Board Member Bixler, will you lead us?
You would please remove your hat. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, members, our next item is item 3.2, approve the regular agenda.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the regular agenda form consistent with board policy BEDB and temporarily suspend governing board policy with which this agenda may be inconsistent.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Bixler?
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We will show that proof 4 yes, 0 no. Next up is item 3.3, Governing Board and Superintendent Recognitions. Dr. Monroe is out tonight. I think Ms. Camp is taking over.
Sure. So we are very excited to recognize several students tonight for their academic success as well as their citizenship and contribution to each of our schools. Mr. Todd, would you do the honor of recognizing them, please?
Will, board members, if you'll please step in front of the dais. Okay, something we started doing new this year is recognizing our exceptional students during a month, and then also we'll recognize our staff in a couple of weeks each month. Just want to give you a little bit about our student of the month. Staff, Dr. Monroe and the governing board members, myself, we'd like to recognize 8 students from across our 7 schools. They personify the values that make the Liberty Elementary School District unique and special. These values are excellence and integrity. Excellence is exhibiting talent or quality that is unusually good and surpasses ordinary standards. They have high integrity in doing the right thing honestly. They work hard and exhibit caring and exhibit care. Because of their hard work and caring attributes, they make their school and classrooms a better place. Thank you to our students and their families for joining us. When I call your name, students, if you could please come up, make your way this way. We'd like to recognize you. At the very end, we'll take a photo. I'd also like to thank NYPD Pizza. They've donated pizza certificates for all the students, and great community partner with us, and Nikki does a great job over there, so we look forward to this. I'll just call him out right here. Our first representative from Blue Horizon is Malik Sanchez. Maybe not here. Next from Estrella Mountain, Connor Zimmerman. From Freedom Elementary School, Cassia Robles. From Las Brisas Academy, Billy Nelson. From Liberty Elementary School, Angel Perez. Okay, our first from Rainbow Valley is Natalia Ruiz. She's not here. Next, from Rainbow Valley, also Dominic Tirado. Okay, and our final recipient tonight from West Star Elementary, Colton Kolopanis. So I know it comes as no surprise to you, but we have some amazing students in our district. This is just one small example. We're fortunate to be able to do this every month. We should be doing this every day because they're that good in our district. So one more round of applause. So just a matter of housekeeping. We're going to take a quick photo. Parents, we'd love for you to stay, but we know it's a late night. So if you want to leave, we'll take a little recess right after this. You can leave and we'll reset for those that want to stay. You're welcome to stay if you want.
So cute.
And once again, members, you're free to leave, parents, if you want to. Thank you all for coming.
It looks cloudy out there, or no? Is it dusty outside or no?
No, because it's almost dark in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
By like 6, it's dark. I am. And I'll say right here, I'm okay.
Hi, Mr. Bowler. Hey, you're welcome.
I know where it came from.
About my doggy? I know.
I was thinking, how old?
Well, 13, 14.
Looks like we're ready to proceed with item 4.1, administrative reports. Ms. Camp.
Good evening, Mr. President, governing board members. I present to you, you're not going to believe this, November newsletters. So all 7 schools have submitted their November newsletters to be able to effectively communicate with our families and our community for your review.
Members, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to item 4.2, food service presentation. Miss Cindy Cabanilla.
Hi. Do we? Good evening, board members. My name is Cindy Cabanilla. I'm the nutrition director for Liberty Elementary School District for the last 7 years in partnership with Southwest Food Service. You may have already had the opportunity to look over the presentation, but I wanted to go over it briefly. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
We like to do that just to make you a little more nervous.
Thank you. So our biggest goal is to nourish students to reach their highest potential.
Oh.
It doesn't like me.
Oh.
It's wrong. Thank you. So our goals are always the same, and we try to add more as we go along, but scratch cooking is one of our biggest goals. A variety of fruits, vegetables, different meals to the kids. Inspire healthy choices. And increase participation. We do monthly promotions to keep the students engaged and excited about the cafeteria meals. Every month we do a promotion for the students. August, Eat Healthy to celebrate Kids Eat Better. September, focus on better breakfast. October, Spooky Salad Bar. And then our biggest in November, which is our Thanksgiving meal service, where we invite all our district families. On average, we do about 4,000 meals that day, so we do get a lot of participation from our parents. Two of the biggest things the kids really enjoy is the fruit smoothies for breakfast, and they do enjoy our breakfast carts where they get to have their breakfast outdoors when the weather is nice. One of our main focus for our program is growth. We do grants every year to try to get more funds for the program to help improve our program, being able to purchase equipment for the students. And here's a few pictures of the kids, salad bar, the fruits, Thanksgiving service, and meals. A few more pictures of students on campus. On one of those is one of our farmers market, which is some of our educational nutrition for the students. So we offer different variety of fruits and vegetables that the kids wouldn't normally see on a day-to-day, such as dragon fruit blood orange, cucumber melon, and the kids really enjoy that day. They also get to see the nutritional information for each one of those fruits and vegetables and then ask as many questions as they would like. Our goals are to always emphasize on securing grants to keep our program growing for purchasing equipment, offering the different variety for the students, and maintain our dedication to providing engaging and age-appropriate nutrition education with the farmers markets and roving chefs that we offer to the students. Any questions?
Mr. President, I don't really have a question. I just want to thank you so much for all the work you do, because I know it's not easy to keep it self-sustaining, which you have done a miraculous job doing. And I've had a chance to see a number of things on the campuses that I've visited, especially around the serving meals and so on. I probably should disclose to you, just to be fair, that I am doing kind of an impromptu, informal critique of tater tots. So I have been testing tater tots on all the campuses, and they are very good.
Okay.
So I just really want to thank you for doing all that. I had a question about trends with the kids. My theory has always been they'll eat what you serve them. Yeah, they may complain initially about not having pizza and so on, the high calorie items that are not necessarily all that healthy for you. And I assume that they would eventually change their eating habits because they get hungry. Have you seen a trend at all? Do we offer a la carte?
So we do offer 3 entrees every day, 2 hot, 1 cold. A variety that one is scratch made that will add more fruits and vegetables, and then our full on salad bar. I feel like when we do our nutrition education, such as a farmer's market, they get super excited. And I know for a week or so following, they always stop at the salad bar and make sure they get fruits and vegetables.
Good.
So I feel like when we offer a bigger variety, they are more excited and, more likely to pick up another fruit or another vegetable at the salad bar.
I know a number of our campuses are growing stuff on the campus, and a lot of it's food that's edible. So I'm hoping they get a better understanding and a more desire to have it as they get there. I also want to comment on the spooky salad bar. I admit radishes scare me to death, so I appreciate you making it spooky for the kids. So thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Just real quick, are you seeing an uptick? I mean, how are you seeing the kids? You say you're trying to get more kids into the program. I mean, how's that going? I mean, are we having any success at all? Because I'll tell you what, if you can tell me how to get my kids to eat lunch at school, I'll give you a bonus.
I think the older kids is our tougher crowd. It's, some of them would think it's cool not to eat in the cafeteria. And so a few students don't, some of them follow along. Usually our participation, just like every school year, starts off slightly slow and then it starts to pick up. Adding the grab and go carts in the morning has started off a little bit higher, and it does keep increasing every day. We finished off this October with a percentage of 53% free and reduced versus last year where we were at a 47. So we do have a few more students that are receiving free or reduced meals. So we are seeing the numbers a little bit higher.
Great, thank you. Great job. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
That was actually my question about free and reduced. I know my kids, and They used to complain a lot about food, and they don't complain anymore. I don't know which option it is, whether they just choose not to eat, or if they've grown tolerant to the food. I've heard some really good things about some good foods that are being served, and I'm glad to see the kids are being well taken care of. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time tonight. It's always good that the cafeteria staff is always friendly when I've been on campuses, and I seem to hit it around lunch, and I need to probably eat lunch at your facilities more than Taco Bell. I'll admit it, but it always smells good. I know the kids are always taking food, so we appreciate the hard work. I know some school lunches around the valley and the country are pretty bland, and it's nice to be able to brag that we do the scratch lunch and get a little more creative than some school lunches that are around the valley. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Our next item on the agenda is 5.1, our governing board report. Board member Parks.
Mr. Todd and I actually got to go to Estrella. They had a wonderful, and I was just looking it up. I can't remember what you guys called it.
Hello, Reed.
Thank you. Anyway, it was for K through 2, and they had the tables set up for all the kids to do little tasks, and if they got it right, they got to have little treats, little candies and stuff. And I thought it was great. I enjoyed talking to the teachers. The kids were great. We got a lot of really good feedback of the new school year, and the teachers seemed to be really enjoying the 4-day school week. Kids and parents, same thing. We got a chance to talk to quite a few different people. The only challenge I had was I went around to the tables and tried to complete some of the tasks, and I didn't do so good. So, but other than that, it was a great experience.
Board member Bixler.
Yeah, I had a chance to go to a number of things since the last meeting as well. The first was the Estrella Mountain Champs Night. And what a perfect night to pick to be outside and having fun. It was just a glorious night outside. What I saw a lot of was ukuleles and dots. I don't know if you've ever played dots as far as the game, but it has some real interesting aspects to it. And boy, the kids were really, really into it. So that was a lot of fun to watch. It was a little too physical for me, so I decided not to participate, but it did look like a lot of fun. Good turnout, really, really good turnout. The capper for the night for me was the bowl of vanilla ice cream with the chocolate syrup on top. It was just the perfect way to end that evening. It was great. The second event I went to was the EMES and Westar presentation at Cantamia, which has become a very popular thing. When we went to it last time, it was inside, and it was just packed. It was wall to wall. This time it was outside, and it was still very crowded. It was amazing the number of people who came by to hear our kids sing, and it was terrific. There was wonderful things going on. The music selections were incredible, all the way from Scott Joplin all the way to the Beatles. I mean, it was all kinds of music that was going on there. I've got to admit, my favorite was a Neil Young song, Down by the River, and so beautifully done, and the choreography that was associated with it was just beautiful. Terrific event. What a good statement about Liberty Elementary School District number 25 is that Cantamia experience. I do think that we've had enough time now that we need to start thinking about a name. So I have a suggestion. I think we should call it Cantacellamia. So move that around a little bit. So next year, I invite everybody to go to Cantacellamia and enjoy the music. The third thing I went to was the junior high band night at the football game for Estrella Foothills. And again, to watch our kids march in with the marching band was a terrific sight to see. They participated in the halftime show and did a fantastic job. I really want to thank the Estrella program for allowing our kids to be in there, to be a part of that. I know it's a great recruiting tool, but just the thrill of being a part of that whole program and the camaraderie and the esprit de corps that you build as a part of a band program, you can't get anywhere else. And I'm really glad that our kids were a part of that. And I want to thank the Buckeye Union High School District for allowing us to do that. And I want to thank our people for being there. it was amazing how many people were there and how well they did. The final thing I was involved with was a presentation of a program that we're delivering in our classrooms called Math Connection. The event itself was in here, and we had a chance to do some of the activities that the kids are being expected to do in the classrooms. And I'll tell you what, it was challenging. You had to really think to accomplish this, and you did it in a collaborative venture. It was not done alone. It was a real world kind of experience, and it was so amazing. I didn't want it to end. The presenter was real good about honoring our time, making sure that we didn't run over, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to stay and play some more with what we were doing. It was that engaging. So we have another opportunity. Those that missed it on this time, there is another opportunity, and gosh, I highly recommend that everybody take advantage of this on November 28th at 5 o'clock, I believe in here, is that correct? In here is going to be that presentation again. If you want to see what we're doing to accelerate our kids in the classrooms in the area of math, come see this. You will be impressed. Thank you.
I was also at the same event with the Math Connections, and Board Member Bixler is absolutely right. It was good to see what our kids are learning. It was very creative. We had a lot of fun during that. I really wish there was a bigger turnout. There was a very, very little turnout. And I know it was in the morning and a lot of people work jobs and stuff like that. So this next one that is being put on by the district is, like was said, on the 28th coming up, and it's a Tuesday night from 5 to 6, and I believe, don't quote me, but there might be thought about this coming to the different campuses as well down in the future. But if I've heard parents and grandparents to ask me, my kids are coming home and they have this homework, this math homework, and I don't know how to do it. Well, come and find out how to do it. It's pretty amazing, and I agree. I'm one of those people who I like to solve a problem, and I don't want to stop until I get there. And we weren't allowed to solve the problem all the way. We ran out of time. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. I also got to attend on the 26th the Liberty Carnival, and that was an amazing night. It was a beautiful, beautiful night. Got a little chilly in the evening, which we, I think, are ready for. And there was a huge turnout. It was, I would say, a success. It was a lot of community support, and just a wonderful event that Liberty put on. Another thing I would like to just throw out there is Election Day is coming up. So I would ask that the community please check their mailboxes for those ballots. We need to focus on getting this bond passed. And so I'd ask for the community support. We do have a drop box here. If you're not comfortable leaving your ballot in your mailbox or taking it to the post office, we have a drop box here in the front office, so you guys are more than welcome to use that. On a side note, and this I would like to talk about at the end of the meeting for a future agenda, but I was approached by a couple staff members in regards to the ESSER funds, and so that grant expiring at the end of this month, which basically pays for our behavior specialists and our permanent subs. And I really don't want to see those go away. I think that they're very valuable positions and we need those. So we'll talk about that in a future agenda item, which we'll talk about later. But just another reminder, tomorrow's Halloween. Families, please, please, please watch your kids. Be safe tomorrow. Have fun. But it's also a time when there's crazy people out there. So just keep an eye on your kiddos. We're all about the safety for the kids. Have fun, but stay safe. And then upcoming before our next meeting is going to be Veterans Day. So please, on November 10th, please remember to take time and thank a vet. Give them your appreciation. Thank you.
Well, as you've heard, this district has hosted many amazing events these last couple of weeks. I, too, for the first time in my time here in the district, got to attend Estrella's Hallow Read program. It was fun. I learned a couple of things. I'll challenge you to answer them. One of them is what do you call a pumpkin that's been stepped on by an elephant? Squash. We sat over at the table and read most of the jokes. Why did the skeleton choose not to cross the road? Because he had no guts. It was truly a great event over there, watching the kids have a lot of fun, being challenged, having a thought process that goes through. They worked all the tables. Lots of staff was there. It was truly a great event, and really showcases what's happening on our campuses. I really wish we could just have board meetings that had no agenda items every day from start to finish at school, so the public could just come hang out and see the many great things that are happening. There's a buzz around the district this year that is very positive. Everywhere we go, we hear people smiling, be happy. They're upbeat. The kids are happy. I've asked staff, anything you want to talk about? Anything bothering you? Nope. That's great when we hear that. But we're always here to hear the good and the bad if it happens, and from the public, from the staff, from anyone. So great events this past week, 2 weeks, and we look forward to many more. So our next item will be our call to the public. That's item 6 on the agenda. We have one from Ms. Kelly Zimmerman. And as always, you have 3 minutes to speak, and after your 3 minutes is up, we ask that you stop and return to your seat. The board really can't comment on any public comment that's made tonight or any other night, but you're ready to start whenever you want.
Good evening. I'm here to speak tonight because once again, the board leadership has decided that transparency is not a priority of this board. The board is meeting tonight in executive session to discuss the process of a permanent superintendent search. The question is, why are you meeting in executive session and not having the discussion in open session? No personnel matters being discussed. GR Recruiting was already hired for the long-term search at the March 20th meeting. And unless the board is planning on discussing offering Dr. Monroe the permanent superintendent position without completing a search, this discussion does not meet the definition of meeting an executive session as defined by state statute. If the board leadership is considering offering Dr. Monroe the permanent position without conducting a search, I think it's important that the public know that according to public records obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, the district would be required to pay GR Recruiting $15,000 as if they conducted the full search. So the question is, why wouldn't we conduct a full search? To ensure that the district has explored all potential candidates if taxpayers have to pay for this expense anyway. I also think an important question would be, is Dr. Monroe going to be in the executive session with the board during this discussion, as he would then be privy to information that potential future candidates would not have access to since they are not having the discussion in open session. This is just another example of many where the current board leadership does not prioritize transparency to the public. They have been in executive sessions so many times this year, the board agendas have become so small that hardly anything is actually discussed in meetings, and public records requests are being fulfilled between 3 and 6 months. Transparency is a key component in the public's trust. And the current board leadership has not rebuilt trust of the public and the parents after the way they handled the removing of the previous superintendent. The hiring of the leader of this district for the foreseeable future is the most important thing this current board will do before 3 members are up for re-election next year. And who you hire and how you handle the process could very influence voters and the trust they have in you come re-election.
Thank you. Next up is item 7.1, approval of consent agenda.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second to approve our consent agenda. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Bixler?
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We'll show that approved 4 yeses, 0 nos. Next up will be item 8.1, possible action to convene an executive session pursuant to ARS 38431A1, discussion or consideration of employment appointment of a public officer. Mr. Gary Ray and Associates will discuss the executive search process for a permanent superintendent for the district. Members, this was recommended to be done in executive session by legal counsel. I will take a motion and a second, followed by a vote.
Mr. President, I recommend that we move to executive session pursuant to ARS 38-43A1, discussion or consideration of appointment of a public officer, Gary Ray and Associates, to discuss the executive search process for a permanent superintendent for the district.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second?
A motion and a second for executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431 for consideration of appointment of public officer with Gary Ray and Associates to discuss the executive search process for a permanent superintendent for the district. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Board Member Bixler.
Nay.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We will show that approved 3 yes, 1 no. And we'll show the time is 6:08. We'll go into executive session. Okay, we'll show that we are back in general session at 7:23 p.m. Our next item is item 8.3, consider if they deem advisable to adopt a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of school improvement bonds of the district. Ms. Beth Strickler, can you update us?
Yep. President President Todd and governing board members. Included in your board packets was the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of school improvement bonds. If authorized, this sale of $3.27 million is the final sale from the 2019 authorization. With us tonight are two familiar faces, Mr. Mike LaValle and Mr. James Gill. Should you have any questions, administration is recommending the approval of the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of school improvement bonds.
Members, any questions? All right, hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of school improvement bonds for the district.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. When I call your name, specify your vote. Board Member Parks,
Yes.
Board Member Bixler,
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We'll show that approved 4 yes, 0 no. Thank you for coming. Avoid downtown. Traffic's bad. Okay. 8.4, discussion of the first reading of policy BCB, BDA, BDB, BE, BEDA, BEDB, EBC, IHA, JFABDA, JK, and I don't mean joke, JKD, JKE, and JLH. Ms. Camp.
Mr. Board President and governing board members, the Arizona School Board Association's legal team has reviewed recent Arizona legislation to identify governing board policies that require updating to align with the statute. The policy changes proposed match ASBA recommendations with some adjustments as recommended by district attorney. The attached documents provide the rationale and markup proposed change. This is a first reading for board comment and proposed revisions. These policies will be discussed again in a second reading for possible approval in upcoming board meeting, and we stand ready to hear any comments and or revisions.
Members, if you can please go one at a time, and if you have something, please let us know which policy you're referring to so we can pull it up.
Mr. President, I'd like to bring up policy JK.
Policy JK. Please proceed.
All right. So I was reviewing all the policies, and JK has caught my attention some time ago. JK, first paragraph, the superintendent shall respond or recommend policies and develop procedures for the discipline of students to comply with ARS 15843. Referencing 1548843, it specifically says the governing board of any school district in consultation with teachers and parents of the school district shall prescribe rules for the discipline, suspension, and expulsion of pupils. It nowhere has the language of superintendent. So I think we need to have some a revision to more accurately reflect what the statute is saying.
Is that your recommendation to go with the statute language, Mr. Parks?
Yes.
And yes, we'll take that into consideration and run that by legal, and we should have something prepared before the next, or for the next board meeting.
Thank you very
Second reading.
much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before we move off that, I didn't quite understand. You're saying you want more than just the superintendent recommending policies?
It's actually statute says the governing board does that. It doesn't say the superintendent, and it refers to 843, which is a statute I have right here. It says it's the governing board's responsibility, not the superintendent. So it's not correct. Our policy is not correct.
So by virtue of that statute, what you're saying is that that shouldn't say superintendent, it should say governing board?
Correct.
And Mr. Parks, I think that's 15843B.
Correct.
The
Correct.
governing board of any
Yes.
school district in consultation with the teachers and parents of the school district shall prescribe rules for the discipline, suspension, and expulsion of students. The rules shall be consistent with the constitutional rights of pupils and shall include at least the following, and then it lists several additional items,
Correct.
penalties and procedures.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, I also had a question about one of them. Now, if I can find it again. Right, policy BDA.
BDA. Go ahead.
If I understand this, the black line correct or addition, we have to have a vice president.
For that one is coming from me. Okay. So and that is a recommendation because of the way your board functions. It's a little more, it's very difficult when the board president isn't here, who's going to run the meeting? And so I have had much experience with a second person that is representing of the board that would be then the backup for regular board meetings when the board president isn't here, and that would give you a vice president. In some districts, it's called a clerk. They refer to them as a clerk, but vice president is another name.
And because this is not necessarily coming down as a mandate to put in place right now, so we are under no obligation to elect a vice president right now.
No, absolutely not. In fact, I would say you would do it at the organizational meeting at the first of the
The
year.
next year.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. Absolutely.
But we would have to have policy established before then, so we need to establish the
Yeah, you
policy and
establish
have
the
it take
policy.
effect.
And when you adopt it, I would recommend that you say to be effective January 1st.
Is there a reason
Or
that we would
the
delay
first
till
month.
January 1st?
Pardon?
Is there a reason we would delay till January 1st?
We could, but it
But not
wouldn't be
necessary.
required. You
Okay.
just say would be effective January after the
Right.
first of the year.
Or we could make it effective immediately.
You could.
If we're trying to solve a problem, I don't plan on missing any meetings, but if I do, we've identified a problem, it would really be bad to be in November and have me be gone and say, we fixed the problem, but we can't fix it till.
Yeah, I would suggest that a convenient time to do this would be with the next organizational meeting when you're electing.
Okay.
You could choose to do it now if you wanted to, but my recommendation would be to do it as in the process.
Okay.
You know, the organizational meeting.
Any other recommendations?
And this would be two separate votes. We'd vote for a president and then we'd vote for a vice president. Okay. So we'd specify it's two separate votes in that. Okay. Any more? Okay. Hearing none. That was discussion only. We'll move right along to 8.5, discussion consideration to approve fiscal year 2022-23 classroom site fund expenditures and narrative report. Ms. Strickler.
Yes, this report is part of the annual financial report. However, it wasn't completed when the annual financial report was presented to you 2 weeks ago. The narrative shows expenses of approximately $2.5 million used solely for teacher compensation increases in an effort to attract and retain high-quality teachers. We're bringing it to the board for your approval.
Members, any questions? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Mr. President, I recommend that we approve the fiscal year 22-23 classroom site fund expenditures and narrative report.
Second.
Second was Board Member Parks.
Bixler.
Oh, sorry, Bixler. My apologies. Okay.
We look a lot alike.
All right. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also, and I will show that proof 4 yes, 0 no. Item 8.6, discussion consideration to approve associated fence to replace selected fencing at Rainbow Valley Elementary School. Mr. Young.
Mr. President, members of the board, it's recommended the governing board approve the funds to repair, replace, and add fencing per the attached quote for the safety and security of the Rainbow Valley students and staff, I might add.
Any questions or comments, board?
Yeah, Mr. Young, real quickly, I noticed that the one of the not the repair of the chain link, but the other, the ornamental fence, is that replacing an ornamental fence?
Correct, along the road in the front would be,
Okay, I was hoping we were upgrading. I thought it is an upgrade. Oh, cool. The slats in the fence, are they big enough for a 30-pound dog to get through?
not usually, Mr. President, members of the board, usually they're within 4 or 5 inches, so it's pretty tight fit in there.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that the governing board approve the funds to repair, replace, and add fencing per attached quote and the safety and security of the Rainbow Valley students.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, we have the motion and a second to approve expenditure to replace the fence at Rainbow Valley Elementary School, as described by Mr. Young. Call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Bixler?
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Will show that approved 4 yes, 0 no. Moving right along, item number 9.1, board comments or agenda topic request.
Mr. President, early in this meeting, I mentioned that I would like to see, get some kind of an update from administration in regards to the ESSER fund grant that is expiring at the end of the year. That kind of, there's a couple positions that are tied into that, and I want to see hopefully what we can do to keep those positions around. I've heard a lot about how necessary those positions are. And I don't know if that means we go out for another grant or what other options we have there, but if that can be another agenda item, we can come back with.
Just to clarify, are you wanting that as an agenda item or an update in the board update?
I think an agenda item, there was some public that wanted to know what was going on there too, so that would be fine. Thank you.
I think Dr. Monroe did update us a little bit. There was a letter in a previous board member, so we may not have much yet till we get more into the budget, but we'll request it, see what we can get for an update.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else, board members? You're making it easy. Okay. I have one request. Following up from our last work session, I'd like to get a breakdown by school and grade of how many students are below grade average. So for example, I'd like to see Campus A, and I won't name a campus specifically because I like to see them all, but Campus A, second grade, has X number of students who are below state average in math and reading. So we can just break that up. And if you've already provided that, I apologize. I looked back and I didn't see anything of that nature, but just trending along the lines of continuing to improve our schools. I think it helps us see a little better.
As an agenda item, Mr. Todd, or an update?
You know what, we could probably do it as an agenda item and have a little discussion about plans to fix that. I think we can look at reading and see if we're along the lines of the concern of reading and journalists. If we need to find more funding, less funding, but making sure our students are at all levels of education, all grades, from special ed to gifted, everything in between, K through 8. We could probably even take in some 9th or 10th graders if we need to have a fair shake at getting the very best of it. And knowing the exact numbers, I think, will help us paint a picture to our public as well as to the board.
Mr. President, just one quick question from Ms. Camp. Are there some of those metrics that are not displayed as grade level equivalents? Would it be better to ask who's not meeting our expectations?
I heard it stated below state average, Mr. Todd?
That
Yes.
is different, yeah.
Okay.
State averages would be, I think,
And
more
I think
comparable
we're
numbers.
talking about proficiency.
Yes.
Okay. Just, yep.
Right.
If you need to call me or clarify better, sometimes I don't know all the language. I'm trying to learn it, but there's a lot to it. Okay, next, if there's no other agenda items or requests discussion, we'll move to 10.1, upcoming board meetings. We have November 13th, November 27th, December 11th, January 8th, and January 29th. And I will let you all know that I think we're going to have a special work session before the December 11th meeting with the School Board Association. They've asked to work with us on some things. We'll get more information to you. And then there will be one the Monday before that, which I think is December 4th. That's tentative, so if you'll just block that out. And Ms. Camerata, maybe if you could just send calendar invites out to hold those so we, as long as they come in as planned. The December 4th one would start at 5:30. The December 11th work session would start at 4:30. And we'd probably run about 2 hours, so our board meeting would then start at about 6:30 on the 11th. Okay, and just under that, I do know the School Board Association reached out to all board members. If you haven't had a chance to respond back to them yet, if you could do so, that would be most appreciated. I believe it's Amy Castellanos who sent the email out. Our last item on the night is 11.1, the adjournment of the meeting.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second it.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. I call your name, specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Yes.
Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Will show that approved 4 yes, 0 no, and the meeting is adjourned at 7:40 p.m.